Hi, how you guys doing? Welcome to Slightly Impaired. I'm Spencer, and Aaron is currently ripping a fatty. How you doing over there, Aaron?
Only rip fatties, boy. I couldn't rip a skinny boy because that'd be too easy. It's like breaking a fucking stick in half.
Okay, well, today we're probably going to be talking about a few different things. Quite a few of them are slightly controversial, slightly spicy,
Well,
if you're into that.
that's the only way I eat my tacos, so it's gotta be that. Um,
Yeah, yeah, give you a nice little third-degree burn. So, if you don't want to hear it, you can go ahead and click off now. But if you're strapped in and ready to hear some shit,
if
then
you're as
let's go for it.
excited as we are, then just I guess listen to it because that's the whole point. You put it on, so might as well sit back and listen to me complain about things. Uh, okay. So real
Yeah.
quick, let's see where we're gonna start. First off, guys, fun little thing. I thought the other day to myself, I was like, you know what? What do people love more than anything in the world? And before you say vaccines for COVID, it's pancakes. But what makes pancakes so fucking good? Of course, it's the bread, the carbs, everything else, but it's the syrup. You can't have pancakes or waffles. You can't have breakfast without some syrup. I mean, maybe some people are like, that's too much sugar. Well, guess what? No one cares about you and go back to eating your oatmeal. Regardless, fun fact maple syrup is actually an indigenous to North Americans. And the practice, I mean, you can read it's right there, but the practice was adopted by European settlers who gradually refined the process and the methods. Technology improved by the 1970s, refining it became more of a process. And there's 5 steps: preparing for the season, determining when to tap, identifying the trees tapped and tapping them, collecting the sap and processing, which they have to boil it, and then they filter it to actually get the syrup that you use. Because of the, I watched this little video the other day, and by the way, fantastic. Explains the whole process, explains the particles that are left in it, and everything else. Very, very nice. Ask This Old House. Recommend them. But it's just crazy that I was thinking, because, like, I was thinking about pancakes, but what really got me, I was like, what person was standing next to a tree and was like, I like that stuff that's oozing out of it. Let me lick it. And then, I mean, they were like, this is so good. I just gotta keep licking trees. And then, some guy was like, what the hell are you doing? And they were like, man, I'm trying to get this sweet, sweet, sticky icky. You know what I'm saying? And then push comes to shove, bro, and someone started tapping trees. And now we got
Man,
and now we got syrup.
I really feel like sometimes a lot of those like old discoveries came from people just having the mind of a feeble toddler, and they just
Bro,
needed
it
to put their
has
mouths
to
on
be.
things.
Can you think of the guy who first, like, whenever cows, like, first off, first person
Yeah.
to see a cow must have been like, what, big dog. But secondly, with spots, who was like, I'm gonna grab that motherfucker's nipples, I'm gonna pull them as hard as I can. And
I'm
then,
gonna rip them off
and,
until it comes
and
out.
then, yeah, exactly. And then whenever, whatever came out, they were like, I wonder what it tastes like. I wonder because there's only so many surfaces on your body that excrete anything, and beyond that, most of the time it's piss or shit. So for someone to be bold enough to be like, "I'm gonna try that," that's
Well, that's a
bold.
pretty big gamble. Like,
Listen,
the how many things are they going through? Really, how many orifices are you gambling
how
on?
many trials? And you think it took them a few hours? They were like trying to get psyched up to it, and then I mean, shit, dude. No, we pasteurize our milk. We got 8 different milk types. Isn't that okay? That's crazy too, dude. The fact that I can get milk that's not milk, it's made of fucking almonds and oats. Just the fact that we can milk that, and I know there's a whole process to breaking it down, but like, my almonds shouldn't have tits, and
Yeah, if you fucking think for a goddamn second that we're drinking actual almond milk, you're crazy.
Listen,
We're drinking almond water. That's what we're drinking.
that's exactly what it is. There's no part of milk in it, so I'm confused as to why it's called milk. It deprives the
Well, you
entire
know,
point.
I don't know. But going back to syrup, I think probably one of the most important distinctions in syrup is what's your favorite brand? Are you going with that racist Aunt Jemima
Listen, that's how I live
or
and die is by that bottle. But
me too?
more than it depends. I went to I want to say it was Kroger's the other day. Ooh, and I saw all these different bottles and stuff, and I was like, this is kind of wild. But there was like, isn't syrup just syrup? Why is there 30 choices of syrup, and why do they all come in a variety of like prices? They're all the same damn thing. I mean, the only thing is someone thinks they add a little more sugar to it. They're increasing, I guess, their recipe or making something up, but it's all the same shit, is it not? It's just syrup. Now, if
Yeah,
like
man.
you're making like a sauce or something, I get that, because like whenever I make like a sweet chili sauce, I'll use some syrup in it to give it a base. If I don't have any light corn syrup, or like agave is always a fantastic one, but I would say like my preference honestly is honey. To like syrup's always good for stuff, but I think honey just has a better, I'm gonna sound crazy, a better texture, and it tastes better. But
Very viscous.
it is, dude, and it's crazy, because bees are the coolest insects around. Don't let nobody tell you different.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so for anybody that really really likes Greek mythology, you guys got to listen to this guy that he reads books on Audible, Stephen Fry. He has three different books. One's Mythos, the other's Heroes, and then Troy. He's coming out with a new one next year about the Iliad. Anyways, there's a story in Greek mythology that explains the obsession that Grecian people had over honey. And essentially, all of the gods got together. They held this big festival, and they said, anybody that can make the best dish will give you a reward. And just like badgers and cranes and whatever the fuck animal could bring them anything, they brought them whatever they had. And he really just didn't know what to pick. And then a small little bug flew up to him, seemed very, timid, and didn't seem like they had much to offer. Well, he tasted it, and he was like, "My God, myself!
What is this?"
This is amazing." And he said,
He said, "You're a fucking god. You should know what it is, you dumb fuck."
Yeah, he said, "Where did you get this?" And it was a bee. And she said, "Well, I spent days laboring to make this for you, and I don't have anything to defend myself. So if you could grant me a reward, if you could grant me this wish, I'd like a weapon." And he said, "Okay, well, I'll give you a stinger." And somewhere along the line, she insulted him in some way or another. And he told her, "The only downside to your stinger is you'll die if you use it." So that's a lot of Greek tragedy. I mean, that's not a tragedy at all in like classical literature, but it's got the same theme. One's a positive, the other's a detriment. So yeah, I mean, if you guys wondering where honey came from, it was offered to Zeus.
And that dickhead decided to condemn bees to a life of self-suicide every time they defend themselves. Like a dickhead.
Yeah, man, he was a real asshole sometimes.
Dude, Zeus was a dickhead through and through. I guess I get it. He killed his daddy, freed his.
He was a slut.
He was, dude. He was a man whore, running around the countryside or the world, no less, fucking women as bulls and other creatures and shit. Fucking.
The best part?
Please tell me.
Hera knew every single time he went to sleep with another woman, and he punished the women instead of him.
It's so fucked.
It's so fucked.
It teach you to take dick from a god. How dare you think you're blessed? You can learn today, son. Fucking, man. You know what?
But if we're talking about, well,
what?
If we're talking about sugar, I mean, we're talking about liquid sugar. That seems to be the theme so far.
That's sweet shit.
The original sugar came from India. It's called jaggery. And it basically looks like a...
Oh, I love that. That's my favorite
cone. Yeah, and it looks like a cone of earwax.
That's hot.
But after the jaggery came about, it took quite a while, probably a few hundred years or a few thousand years. I don't really know the history on it. But after that, once it made its way into Europe, there were countless wars over salt, wars over sugar, that all of the like spices and stuff that we take for granted today. Hundreds of millions of people died over that shit.
Listen.
So when you spill some salt, throw that shit back.
My God. One
for the brothers.
One for the homies, two for the brothers. For your mother and your sister and your mother. Look at this shit, dude. I looked it up so that they have a view of what we're looking at. So basically, you were fighting over bad-looking caramel is what I'm tending to see right now. And
yeah, pretty much.
Listen, if you're willing to die for your country or your religion, but some people are willing to die for sugar, bro. So just, like, remember that next time you have an opinion about it.
Man, and we've been addicted ever since.
Bro, sugar is smacking all the time. Number one reason I have diabetes? That's a joke. I don't have diabetes. But, oh, man, I feel like coming sometimes. Sometimes I eat, like, the worst stuff. Like, I try to better myself. Went to the gym today. And then I got home, and I drank, like, during the day, I drank at least 9 to 10 cups of water. And I didn't eat. And I got home, and I was like, man, I'm so hungry. And I got me some food, but I didn't eat it. And then my roommate comes home, Zane, hopefully he'll be on the podcast soon, fucking walks in the room with, like, 4 cookies and 3 little cheesecake bites. And he's like, hey, you want that? And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have that. That's not good for me. And my fat ass, within 5 seconds, like, my brain, it didn't matter what I thought. I immediately had a cookie in my mouth. And I was like, man, this tastes so fucking good. And I was like, damn. Well, I guess the 300 calories I burned today kind of just went away with 3 bites of a cookie. So, yeah. Sugar,
dude,
man.
the biggest fucking lie. It's the biggest fucking lie. You know the biggest fucking lie about sugar? You know, if you want some ice cream... No, if you want some ice cream, you say, you know what? I'm not going to be the lard that my mind wants me to be. I'm going to go get some yogurt.
Okay, listen. Oh, you finish, and then I'll give my opinion.
It's a complete lie. It's a complete lie. It's it's the same thing. It's just curdled more, and they add just as much sugar.
Look,
it's looser.
You want to know the truth, guys, girls, females, the gingers, all people in the world? If you're gonna get a frozen treat, don't fucking get yogurt, get ice cream. Why would I pay for great value when I can afford name brand? Why would I ever do that? If I want diabetes, I want it to taste delicious. I don't want it to taste like someone in a lab was like, man, this is going to be like 10 times healthier. It's the same thing, though, like, you know, and some people, if you're lactose intolerant, I believe yogurt's okay for you. Maybe I'm completely wrong, because I'm not lactose intolerant, and my fat ass eats everything.
It's lactose.
Is it? See? Okay, see, a little bit of knowledge coming out of my brain. But I remember things. But, like, that's just me, though. I mean, some people are like, yogurt's so good, and it's so yummy, yummy, delicious, and it gives me all my little cravings for the day. And I'm gonna tell you what, no. I want some ice cream if I'm gonna eat something frozen and cold. to be honest.
Yeah, and if you're gonna get some ice cream, I mean, anybody that's listening in the north, anybody that's listening like across the world, maybe come here, come to the south, get some Bluebell
Bro, do
because
yourself
you
a
honestly don't
favor.
know. Get Listeria.
Listen, there was a mass hysteria whenever Bluebell had their little issue with giving people death through their ice cream whenever they were gone for a year. Uh, if anyone wants more information on that, just look it up. Type in "why did Bluebell get taken off the shelves," and I'm sure a year's gonna pop up. But it was so upsetting, dude. Just like whenever fucking Hostess was gone for like a year or something. And like, I don't care for Twinkies. I know America wins on Twinkies, but that's not what I'm for. I'm completely for ding dongs and ho hos for life. Just saying. Especially like if you throw one of them bitches in the fridge and they get cold, I think it's a ding dong, and they're so good. Also,
What?
ding
What? You don't like snowballs?
I I'm not a big coconut person. I'll eat it, but like I've never been like, oh man, hand me that handful of shredded coconut. I want to tear that up. You know what I have said? Said, is that caramel? Give me one of those.
Jesus.
Everybody's got a preference, and I mean, sometimes I want that sticky, icky that's not brown and tarry. You know what I'm saying? If I want
I know
heroin,
what you're saying.
listen,
I know what you're saying.
and
Say it again.
Listen.
Oh, want that sticky, icky, yummy in my tummy.
But regardless, I mean that could be.
I mean,
my main man, Spencer, asked me this question, and I got it right here for y'all. It says,
yeah, we'll get our fat fucking brains off of this subject and we'll switch it around.
just for a second, because like,
Yeah.
if you get offered a handy at a motel by the most beautiful woman you've ever met, the only way you can do it though is you have to shoot up an 8-ball with her. Now, I
know what you're saying. It's not worth it.
Listen,
it's not worth it.
It's
but
not. But at the same time, there's.
But think about this.
Think
about this, Aaron.
Go for it.
What's on a scale of 2.5 to 4? What's the most beautiful one that you've ever seen?
Probably 3.
Exactly. Yeah. You're living your days in New Jersey and you're seeing a bunch of fucking housewives and they're nasty and they won't shut up. Okay.
You're nothing but rough cabbage. Fuck.
This one is
cabbage.
Out of the field and you don't know what to do with yourself. Practically, gluing in your pants, just looking at her.
Listen.
You don't know what to do.
Temptation is a hard thing to beat. But listen, my concern came from, because I mean, like, most people would be like, oh, why do I have to do the drugs? You don't have to do them. You're also not going to get the handy from her. But the thing is like, if this woman is offering me drugs and a hand job, and also the thing is like, I don't know if she's clean, are we sharing a needle? I didn't bring my own spoon, and my crack lighter has a little chip in it, so like maybe I'm having some issues today. But like, could we get more of a compromise? If I gotta use your meth, you can at least like, I don't know, rub one out with your elbow, something. Use your toes. Give me something. Handy's just like, it's like missionary. It's just
It's so boring.
And it is boring. It is. I'll tell you that right now. Hands, I got 2 of them, and I don't like them any more than when they're on my body. So why would I like another set of hands?
You know how much I like. You know how much I dislike it.
How much?
I have 2 hands and I use one.
That's actually a very good point. At no point do I rotate. Not at once. But listen, there's a reason I'm dominant with one hand and not both. It's
because I'm Catholic.
Well, that was already a given. But and that's just the topic of that. You can, have your own comment about it, but do what you will. Now, what are we
Yeah.
thinking? What are we thinking? Get me a question, Spencer. Go, speak your mind. Speak the truth, brother.
Well, I'd like to know your opinion on incels, really.
Incels. Can you give me a reminder? And for the people at home who don't know what incels are, can you please educate them?
The guy that you see in your class and he just twitches every now and then and he looks shifty. And you're like, man, there's something in that book sack.
I got you.
And he just doesn't he doesn't talk to anybody.
I got you a nice little definition. Would you like to hear it?
Absolutely.
An incel is a member of an online community for young men who are considered themselves unavailable to attractive women sexually, typically associated with a view of a hostile towards women and men who are sexually active.
That's exactly it.
Listen.
You hit it on the head.
Listen, I'm pretty good. Now, your question was, how do I feel about them? And can you...
Yeah, we've known a few in our day.
I've known, yes, I have known a few. High school was not, there were some people. Middle school was even weirder.
We kind of all were that.
No, man, I was the cool kid in the back.
Selling drugs.
Listen, I was smoking a cigarette, selling drugs, and, pretending that I was a man dating a girl, even though I couldn't physically take her out or pay for anything or have a job, but I use the word dating a lot. And for any kid out there, or anybody who listens to this who's the age where you're in like leaving middle school, high school, if you don't have a car,
yeah,
and you're
don't
not,
listen to this if you are that age.
Probably not. I mean, this is probably not the best supply of information for you. This is coming from someone who has very, very strong opinions and most of the time is told no, but still does what he wants. Because I don't give a fuck. You're not on a date unless, first off, you're paying for the fucking meal with your own money, not something you were given. 2, whenever you can say that you're a functioning member in society. And 3, just, you're fucking like 14 years old. Your dick's still the size of a Tic Tac. Calm down. And if you're a girl, hopefully, well, not hopefully. What's the word? I'm not a woman. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what usually. What do you think is the average age for a girl to go through puberty in the U.S.? Not in the U.S. That'd be the world. That's a stupid thing.
We're different in the U.S. I don't know,
Those
man.
Tyson chicken nuggets run deep. Fucking. That's a whole nother thing, dude. Do you know?
I think it's.
Do you think it's
what?
You spit your information first.
I think it's like around that age, 13, 14.
You think? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to type that because I'm not a crazy person. But I'm not going to look that up. I already got enough information looked up from incels and fucking jaggery. But...
Yeah, we're on the FBI watch list right now. It's fine.
I hope so. If you're doing that, hey, send me a software update because I don't want any viruses, and I'd like some free antivirus. Also,
No problem.
if I could get some money out of this situation, holler at your boy. Fucking upgrade me. But it's crazy though, because I'm sure a lot of people are gonna agree with this. It's crazy how mature looking some girls are today, considering if you go back 10, 20 years. It's crazy because I've seen some footage of girls from the 2000s and stuff, and in high school, I mean, they look like they're kids, but on fucking I look today, my little sister is in high school, and I can't tell if those girls are 20 something or fucking 14. It terrifies me as a complete adult. It's wild. I don't know what they're putting in the chicken nuggets or if they're eating other vitamins I was missing out on. They've been eating carrots and shit, but it's wild, dude. It scares me as a human and as an adult. It terrifies me.
Well, I mean, hey, let's break down the three requirements that you gave for, being able to classify yourself as actually being able to go on a date. You said you have to be able to pay for the date.
Generally.
Now, if you're talking about men and women these days, I don't know how many women would say this, but maybe they don't want you to pay for their meal.
Well, no. I understand that.
You doing it anyways? You're going to say no. Screw you.
It depends. I think most of the time, I like to pay, and it's not. Shit. If you think it's because I'm misogynistic or something, I don't think that's it. I think it's more the fact that I was just raised that way, and I don't see it like I believe in equality in every right. Listen, I pay for
Well,
one meal.
now we're just a couple southern boys.
Now, my opinion might not be fact, but it is my opinion, and to me, it's the facts. But regardless, it's just like, if I pay for the first meal, you can pay for the second, and back and forth and back and forth. If I buy you something, I don't expect anything, but if you give me something, it's always nice. If fucking, like, you want to pay for pizza, go for it. I'm not going to stop you, but you don't think I'm not going to give tip money or do any of that. I don't know. It's just kind of the way I was raised, and
they're teaching in colleges now. From a few different places that I've heard in, like, I don't know, human social studies or something like that. They're teaching, like, more feminist idealism, which, I'm sure there's a lot of it that's pretty good, but I've definitely heard some where they try to ingrain in these college kids' minds that it's not okay to hold the door open for a woman because you're showing your superiority. That kind of stuff, that doesn't make sense. You're just being helpful.
I was listening actually the other day to Joe Rogan's fucking old podcast, and it's him and Trevor Moore. By the way, rest in peace, Trevor Moore. Fucking, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Aaron love that guy.
Dude, whitest kids you know. But it's just, whenever activism becomes your personality, it's kind of awful. Not that that's where that was headed, but, like, equality should generally be the way everybody should live. And, regardless of your fucking age, your color, your gender, where you come from, who you were raised by, your environment, you're supposed to treat everybody as an equal. But I think the standard of being a gentleman, or the practice of it, is kind of dead. And it's upsetting because there's nothing wrong with holding a door open for somebody. Even if it's not a gentleman's thing, it's just a respectable thing you do. It doesn't matter the gender or whatever the identification of the other person is. It really doesn't. It's just the way I was raised, and regardless, I'm gonna open a door for a girl.
Yeah, a lot of people really did. People that inherit that mindset or just grab onto it or whatever, they gotta know the people that you interact with on a daily basis, even if they're just trying to help you out or show, like, some type of gesture, you gotta get out of your own head. You gotta recognize it for what it is.
It's just a fucking action. There's no implication, and if there is one,
no, I'm sure there's some.
Well, in a way, if you're going on a date and you open the door, there you go. Or if
exactly.
You have,
that's it. Everything's in context.
Yeah. Well, that's your setting's always a thing. Everything plays a factor in everything you do. That's why.
Do you think that's what this whole degradation of social norms is just kind of collapsing the walls of context?
Well, here's the way I think about it. Remember how we were talking about earlier, and Spencer can elaborate on this more. He was talking to me about how pretty much every 100 years there's, like, a rebellious act or a not a revolution, but what were you, if you have the question, or if you remember what you were going to ask.
Is it revolution every 100 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, there really is something to the every century. I think that's more like a psychological thing, just because people see that. But what I was saying is, I think it's weird how within recent history, at least within the past 50 years, every decade there's been a very distinct movement with teenagers or early 20s young people that want to rebel against the conservative culture that's in the society at the time. And I mean, you could see that with counterculture, you could see that with grunge, you can see that with, hip hop in some ways. And today, I really wonder, exactly what that rebellious culture is. And I wonder what it's going to be in 30 years. Like, is it going to be enough in 30 years for a kid just to have piercings? Like, because at that point, today's kids are going to be their parents, and they're going to be the ones that had the piercings and the tattoos, and they were doing all this crazy stuff. So what's the next step?
After my generation, dude, those kids are going to look fucking wild. Gonna be,
yeah.
I fucking cut off my index finger because I look different. But
they're just gonna be like, Dad, you don't have the new eye implant. It's crazy.
I can't believe it. I can see so many objects at once out of one eye. Fucking. But no, what I was gonna get at is, so, not to say rebel, but okay. So if there's been, I've noticed. It's kind of died down, and the wave of violence is kind of like varied. So like with I think a good one would be like going into 90s, 80s, like grunge and all that. Very heavy. Not that they were aggressive, but just the style. And then like with the 70s and 60s, draft dodgers, just moving place to place and all that. And I'm sure. I don't know what was before that. I'm sure it was, factory workers rebelling against something or a movement, and then just...
It was the swingers. It was the swingers of the 20s.
It was the 20s.
And after in World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be. What would be before that, off the back of my head?
Before that, in the 1900s, or actually if you go back to the 1800s, we'd really have to kind of move... because I don't know too much about in America, but you'd have to move into Europe. And talking about people like Oscar Wilde, you're talking about, all of these really eccentric characters that are going against social norms. And if you guys didn't know, like, if you don't know the story of Oscar Wilde, or the story of a lot of those gay men back then, it was illegal. It was punishable by death in some cases. And so they weren't, rebelling off of a whim just because their parents don't like it. Like, they were, living the lifestyle that they wanted to live, and no matter what.
Yeah.
But you know what would be really interesting? Are you looking up something right now?
I'm not. What you got?
You know what would be really interesting that I've never really even looked into is really that definition for those types of movements is counterculture. We just kind of assigned that one specific term to the 60s and 70s in America. But I'd like to know what the counterculture in Russia is when the Berlin Wall fell.
Oh, that's actually a very good thought. It's weird because the Iron Wall fell, and it was just like... Because that was what year was that? Was it 80s or was it 70s?
90s. It was 89 when the Berlin Wall fell.
Was it 89?
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because when you watch the footage back, it's not. Maybe you're thinking about the Iron Curtain.
I definitely am.
During the Cold War.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was aiming for. Okay.
But when the Berlin Wall fell, it wasn't, you weren't seeing a lot of politicians, obviously. You weren't seeing a lot of older people in Russia, promoting for this wall to be taken down. It was all young people. So I guess that was the counterculture at the time. They were all advocating for this, monstrous thing to be taken down so they could have some form of freedom again. let's see. 500,000 people gathered in East Berlin. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I did watch something not too long ago about
The Guardian.
what Russia's The Guardian.
No, I was looking up pictures of the Berlin Wall falling, and it clicked me on the Guardian. Fun fact about the Guardian: I watched a movie. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
I watched a movie called Spotlight, and it's about the Catholic Church. Unless I don't want to be controversial, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. Uh, it was about the priest molesting little boys, and it's about the amount that was in Boston, and the networking and stuff. It's just wild. If you want to see a light shined on an age-old institution and a truth revealed that was hidden to the public and the world and affected millions of people, do yourself a favor and watch that movie and do some research. Because, everybody makes a joke about Catholics and priests and stuff, and I to a degree, I'm even guilty of it, and it's, I get it, and it's hateful sometimes, but the thing is it's just wild. The fact that was a good way. And, it's not the whole church. It wasn't everybody. I'm not going to blame the entirety of the Catholic religion. But it's just wild that a thing could get to that point. And it just be what it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. That was my rant. I just remembered something. Anyway.
oh, no. That all stems back to when Martin Luther, rewrote the Bible in German, rewrote the Bible in a common tongue. I mean, even before that, but that's when it really took off in a way. Because at that time, the Catholics were owning property. They were the ones with power. They were the ones that said, we can guarantee you a spot in purgatory if you just pay up, or we can waive your sins if you give us a little bit of money.
So what?
And that's how they collected a lot of their money and land and power.
It's amazing.
And so this
manipulation can build a fucking empire. Just
yeah, man. And
Sorry.
Now you go.
I was gonna say, people who couldn't even read, or they weren't literate, they couldn't understand, they took whatever they said as gospel. So, I mean, anybody could say anything, and they couldn't fight it because they couldn't prove them wrong. And
what do they know?
they don't know nothing. They're fucking dirty. Go back to your dysentery, you goddamn pig farmer. But it's just it's wild that an institution that was supposed to be built for, I would say, easement of the mind, if not spirit. Because, I mean, the whole point of faith is living by, by faith, not by sight. But it's crazy that people could take anything and manipulate it into their favor. But, the fact that they would lead, what are they called? Crusades. And they would tell them that they're fighting for God, and they were guaranteed a spot in heaven if they died for their country. And to promise someone that you don't have that power, first off, in any kind of faith or religion, I want that to just be a known statement, and you can argue with me, but if God is the judge, for someone to morally say anything is of what they say is of God, that kind of is awful. I mean, I guess there's interpretations and this and that, but don't claim you're speaking God's voice, because that in itself is demoralizing to the religion, because he's God. But anyway, sorry.
Right. I mean, no, I agree with that.
He's
but
not a 50-year-old who's wearing a white suit with a pointy hat, fucking pointing out shit, saying that country has the most resources. Get it?
Yeah. If you think about it in modern terms, who is most well known for, having an affiliation with harming children currently.
Currently?
I'll give you a guess. He didn't kill himself.
Listen, he did it in his own cell. I saw it. You can ask the guard. It was wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's the people with money, man. They get bored.
Isn't that wild, dude? Money. People think money is the root to happiness. Look where it fucking leads you, dude. You become a wild animal, and you look for the craziest things to give you pleasure. For some people, that's gonna be death, because, like, in my opinion, if you're a pedophile, you don't deserve to be, among us. Just gonna
Among Us.
Among Us. This
Yeah,
is the best
I
video
mean,
game of 2020. Among Us.
I don't know, man, and that's something I like wonder about sometimes. Is would they be that way if they didn't have that sum of money? If they didn't have that, craving for power?
I don't know, and that's I say it's money. There's a deeper stemmed. I hope. I pray that they got something wrong with them. It still doesn't give you an excuse in any regard to do any of the actions you do, but
No.
it's just, man, some people I think innately are born evil. It's not that they have intentions to be evil, but they just don't realize it. And, like, money definitely doesn't help the situation. I'm just gonna say that. Kind of gives you more access to go fucking nuts.
No, and the thing that always just kind of brings me back to kind of proving myself wrong when I try to think that money or power is the cause is when I think about serial killers, because they don't have either of those two things, and they still do much worse actions.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Here's a whole thing. Do you think? Because I believe there's evil in this world. Like, not even on a spiritual level. There's evil in this fucking world, and it's not that I'm, like, afraid of it, but I should be. It should be a healthy fear. Is like, is like if there's a cabin in the woods and I'm not getting any bars, fuck you. That's where I'm gonna end up with the Book of the Dead, and I'm gonna fucking lose my hand. I'm gonna become Ash Williams, or like if there's some shit like graveyards. I understand you have to go to like in France with the catacombs and stuff. That's fucking terrifying. I do not want to go in that shit. You know why? Because that's a dark place and dark shit happened there, and I'm not meant to be there.
Yeah, if you've ever watched As Above, So Below, I think catacombs are probably ruined for you forever.
Yeah, they're kind of fucking evil. And like,
in a way.
Well, listen, holler at my ancestors, pay respects, shoot a 3-pointer, holla. But it's like,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm not receiving a curse from you. It's not happening. No demonic possessions. No. I'm not carrying a spirit. I'm not birthing the next Antichrist. None of that. Not happening. Listen, I'm not gonna be a part of your situation.
With your fat womb, you're not gonna be able to.
Listen, you think that this is a beer belly? I've secretly been having a womb implanted, and it's finally grown to the point where I can carry him. But
I can conceive.
The only problem is, I just can't get him in there. I don't know how to do it.
But
there's only one way, and I don't want to go.
I'm not a big fan.
Call my lawyer. Look at these two gentlemen. I call him Popsicle and him the Stick. Like that little chin hair.
Who are you looking at?
Your blue background boys. Looking at Meth Head and the Brute.
Oh, thanks.
Very nice. We take a closer look. Very nice.
I just really like to know what sick, demented person said, "Hey, we got a lot of bones here. Like a lot. We got a lot of bones. We got to do something." And then somebody said, "Well, I mean, we also have tunnels. So
he said,
let's build some stuff.
That tunnel.
And the dead are going to pay for it.
Yeah, listen, we're gonna pave the way with skulls.
But no, dude. Back to like what was it, the serial killers? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think it's your upbringing. A lot of people, most serial killers, I would say, have a like their psychological profile, if it's even true, depending on if they tell the truth. But it's usually a pretty fucked up childhood, and you know, I would want to say that's the reason they are, but I think there's plenty of people who have a perfectly normal life and haven't had anything traumatic, and they fucking snap one day and they just killed 10 people. And,
They get called ugly on the street and they can't take it.
And that was the one point they were like, nope, it's you're done.
This is it.
All right, call your family because they're not gonna hear from you again. It's just fucking like it's that's awful, but no, it's wild to me, and you know, and I can't put. I mean, I can never give a true reason. I just spit opinion because I mean I'm not the person, so I can't tell you why they do what they do, or you know, I mean look at Charles Manson. He was just fucking crazy. He's nothing. He's a ghost.
He's ghost, man.
I'm the spirit. I'm the wind. What does he say? He says,
I'm the wind.
He says, I'm a jug of wine. And he says, if you get too close,
And
I'm a razor.
He's fucking dude. He's wild. He's wild.
Hey, man, and you know what? He got a wife at 70 years old.
Bro.
In prison.
Listen, what the fuck? Why am I struggling?
And that's not... There's somebody for you if he can get it.
I hope so. It's just like...
Charles Manson could get some. Why can't I?
There's a lot of serial killers. Like, there's... well, actually, you know what? This is one weird
there
thing.
Are lots of serial killers.
This seems to be like a hot topic right now. Serial killers for some reason, even though there hasn't been one in a while.
Right.
There's not a lot of women serial killers.
No. You know what, though? I feel like there's not a lot of women serial killers, but whenever women kill, they do it in numbers, and they do it drastically. Like, not... Listen, I'm not knocking women for killing, because I guess it's still awful. I don't want anybody to kill anybody, but it's like well, I forget her name all the time. That she drowned her kids.
The one in Florida?
Maybe.
Casey Anthony.
Yeah, Casey Anthony. Just like one day she was like, you know, God just
Had
told.
enough.
Was it? I'm pretty sure. There's one of them that said she heard God tell her. That may not be Casey Anthony though. That may be.
Ooh, no.
I kind of
No, because she denied it for a long time.
That she did any of it, right?
Right.
And it's just wild to me, dude. Like, she fucking drowned her kids. That's some cojones stuff. Like,
Yeah, man. Even her mom said, "Look, she did it," and I don't know. It's and she got a kid after that, I believe.
that's fucking wild.
They let her have a kid, man.
They were like, listen, this one
Don't do it again.
can't go near water. Not allowed.
No swimming lessons for her.
Her to kill her family. There's this documentary. I'd have to look it up, but basically this lady is obsessed with this guy, and they dated, and then he broke it off, and she fucking she gets pregnant. She ends up like kidnapping the kid, and she ends up literally like drugging the baby and herself and drowns both of them in the fucking ocean.
Oof.
And it's a documentary. She also killed the dad.
Oh no! Wait, did you hear about the one? Man, this had to have been at least last year or 2 years ago, something like that. They buried the kids in the front yard,
Huh?
and they just tried. They pretended that they had went missing for like 6 months.
That's fucking wild. How?
Yeah, I think they went to Hawaii. They said, "I'm tired of these kids, and I need a break. I'm gonna go to
Danae Lenny,
Hawaii."
39, has been charged with 2 counts of murders in the death of her sons Joshua and Luke, 6, and a single count of injury her child Aaron, a 15-month-old, who survived the attack. It's not showing a picture,
Jesus Christ.
but like Laney said, God had told her that the world was going to end and that she had to get her house in order, which included killing her children. Oh my god, I can't say the word. I'm stupid.
What are you reading?
I'm reading a report. I typed in. Basically, she snapped. She said,
Yeah.
Gotta get my shit together. Gotta kill my children. Gotta make sure they aren't alive, because I want to be with them in the end. Ba-da-ba. But it's just... she did a fucking tap dance. But it's just wild that, like, someone could do that to their child is what blows me away in the first place.
Yeah, man, back home, there were a lot of shootings and killings and stuff like that, but I remember one really vividly that happened while I was at work, and we would come back every day and just keep up with it because it was happening, 3 miles down the road. It was ongoing. It lasted for like 3 days. It was a man, a stepdad, a wife, and 2 kids, and a boyfriend, I believe. So the stepdad, yeah, it happened close to where we lived, but the stepdad ended up killing killing one of the kids, the boyfriend, kidnapped the daughter, and fatally, nearly killed the mom. He took the daughter and went past where I used to live, like 10, 15 miles down, and he held her hostage for about a day and a half. I think they had caught him, but man, it was a big deal at the time. They even like shut down the Sonic where the kids worked and everything.
Oh shit, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that's why Sonic was closed.
You just got off work and you were like, "Why Sonic closed?"
I was pretty fucking pissed. It was a weekday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty distraught. I wanted my corn dogs, bro. Listen, if I wasn't getting a slushy and a mozzarella sticks, I was gonna kill somebody. No pun intended. But I don't know, dude. I don't know, and that's I guess that's a whole other question. Like, some people, do you think, and I guess it's on the situation, you would have the strength to, like, take another life if you had to? And we don't have to talk about that, but I think that's well, shit, dude, if it's you or something, it's you or somebody else, like, or at war, even in war, dude, it's like, if you have to, do you think you could take somebody's life?
Do I think I could? Yes. Would I enjoy it? No.
Physically, are you capable of the action? Of course, yeah, I could do it. No problem.
It's like eating a carrot, dude. I could do that.
I need to dispatch someone. Done. No.
I don't know, because I've listened to, and I think you probably listen to this kind of stuff too, but I've listened to, World War II vets from Vietnam, and they're in their 90s now. They're just talking. The only thing they're really thinking about is, especially if they're like a lieutenant or a sergeant, all they think about is the men that they lost. They don't think about the politics or what was happening or why the war happened. They just think about the lives that had gotten lost,
dude, because of the war.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother thing, dude. Unnecessary violence when it's not needed. More bloodshed's taken, and it's Vietnam was just a fuck situation. All wars are a fuck situation. World War II is awful. But not to compare one war to another. It's kind of an awful thing to do. Like, I know what's funny though, as like a middle schooler, and like, you know, playing Call of Duties and shit. I'm like, yeah, Vietnam was so cool. You know, that must have been the coolest stuff ever. Crawling through tunnels, hoping to God you don't get stabbed to death or shot in the face. That's pretty sick. Napalm, my favorite. But
I want that.
I want to taste and smell barbecue. It's just fucking, it's wild. Dude. It's wild. But the atrocities of war, and it's just, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy that humans can find a reason to kill each other when there isn't one. And I would say the development of society and social norms and everything definitely plays a role in the way that, you know, everything's turned out. I mean, we haven't had a major war, I'd say, in a minute. I'm sure there's still ongoing stuff constantly, and there always will be, and there's never going to be peace. It'll, you know, when there is peace, that's honestly the time you should be freaking out. Because, like,
Yeah.
as humans, no one's ever content. So, there you go. So if you walk outside and everybody's like, hey, how are you today? You're in the Matrix. You should be freaking the fuck out because they figured out where you are. And they're coming for you. By the way, they're making a new Matrix. And the trailer is today. Today's Thursday. It should drop
It's tomorrow.
It should drop tomorrow. That's going to be exciting.
Yes, it is. I saw that today.
How do you feel about Keanu Reeves making an appearance? Or I don't know if it's going to be about him. That's what, like...
Dude, I don't know.
He died in the other one, didn't he? In the third one?
It's hard to tell. I really don't know. He may have, or that may have been fake. I don't know.
It was all a simulation in the simulation, bro.
In the simulation.
Fucking Inception, that bitch. But...
Yeah.
That's what... You didn't know Christopher Nolan actually directed these movies. But fantastic director, dude. But I didn't like Tenet, I will say. Watched it. It just wasn't a good comic book adaptation. I'm sorry. You
didn't like it?
I didn't. I really didn't, and I tried, bro. I watched the whole thing. I watched it.
Dude.
It was like modern Shakespeare with Batman now, Robert Patterson, and then what was the other guy? I don't remember the other guy's name. And I feel bad because he actually did he did a really good part.
It's Denzel Washington's son.
It's something Washington. I just don't know his first name. But I guess I should look that up.
Oh, I don't know. David.
Give credit to the man's name. Watch us be totally wrong, and we're just bad people. John David Washington. He's got 2 first names.
There you go.
He's literally called the protagonist. Okay, so he doesn't have a name in it. I thought it was crazy because I wanted to call him something, but unless his name is John Davis Williams in the movie, that'd be wild. Also, wasn't paying heavy attention to it, but the action scenes were kind of cool. It was just like the way it's shot in comparison to the dialogue. I wanted to laugh because they read it like it's a literal comic book, but it sounds like he's reading Shakespeare the entire time, in my opinion. Just
in a way, yeah.
But I get it. But at the same time, like, I wanted to see time go backwards and people fucking fight. That's what I went for.
That's not what it's about, Aaron.
It is to me. And a lady killing her crazy warlord husband. Yeah. Spoilers. Well, they've already happened, so you're welcome. But not that I don't even know. How did we get on we got on Tenet because of directors. What were we even talking about before? I don't even know where we're Tenet.
Yeah.
I know we talked about serial killers and stuff. Oh yeah, fun little tidbit. These cute little animals. So I asked the question. We'll get to that in a second. Don't you worry about what was on that. Basically, I asked if you could have any animal companion, what would it be? And not just based on the animal's appearance. Well, I caved in because I was going for I was thinking, an animal or a chimpanzee or an ape is gonna fucking rip off my face at one point because they become not hostile but territorial, and a reptile, a full one could end up killing me at one point. Fish are always cool, but it's a fucking fish. And rodents, there's so many of them, and I was like, man, I gotta find something. And then it was on Instagram, and I saw this little fucker, and he's kind of the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a quake, and they're super friendly apparently, and they're herbivores, and they're super photogenic, as you can see by this photo, and they're just always look like they're happy. The population is decreasing on them. I found that out. So, guys, let's try to save these guys because they're kind of the fucking cutest things that's ever been alive. Look at that. Look, he's got a fucking stick. He's just sitting there. And look, he wants to hold you. God, look how cute that is. And they get to about the average size. I've lost where I'm at. I don't even know why I clicked on those pages. They get about that of a domestic cat. So imagine this little guy is just standing next to you, and you're having a bad day, and he just smiles at you. You can't look at those eyes. You cannot be upset, and you're gonna give him love. That's all you're gonna give him. Look at him. Oh my god. But Spencer went with Let me pull up his. Would you go with Spencer? This little kangaroo.
It's a wallaby.
It's a lullaby.
A wallaby.
A wallaby.
Oh, if you didn't know this, wombats, when they poop cubes.
You say cubes?
Yeah, I said cubes.
Did you say wallaby? Because what I'm looking up is a cartoon.
What I sent you was a wallaby.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is a wombat.
Well, I know that. I'll just look up a wombat because I typed in wallaby. I think I spelled it how I thought it was, and that. Look how big that fucker is. And that guy. This guy has seen some things in his life, and he's not about it. He's shocked. But regardless. Oh, that look cute there.
Oh, here.
Oh my god, guys. What the fuck is this? Got one for you, Spencer.
Jeez Christ, man. Ugh. Yeah, Conan's having a great time.
What do you do as a wallaby? You like to dance? Oh my god. So
how do you like those tongues? How do you like the tongues? Can I play guitar solo for you real quick?
More of a Chicago guy myself. Platypi. I think platypuses are pretty cool. Tasmanian devils are pretty cool, but yeah, they're vicious, so just no. But yeah, that's my pick. They're the cutest fucking things in the world, and I stand by that. I'll die for one of these things. If it means to save their life, I'll let my die. I'll die. I'll go away forever.
I'll die.
Spencer, what you got?
Man, I don't know. We are capping on that hour mark.
Are we? Ooh.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. Well then, I think we might just end it here, guys. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us. I know we were just kind of babbering the whole time, but we do appreciate it, and thank you guys.
Yep. Have a great one. Thank you. And
I'm gonna crank out some content. if we can. But no.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
Be careful. Do look both ways.